We met in 2009. A year later, we got pregnant, and then we got married. Leading up to it was kind of rocky, and then once we actually got married, it was a whirlwind. We were just like really young.
I always wanted to party all the time. I've drank every other day, and then weekends really got hammered. She would just feel so hurt.
We stayed married for 7 years. In between the 7 years, it was like, we're together, we're not together. I'm filing for divorce. And once the divorce paper was signed, I knew like that was it. And I just stuffed everything in the back of my Kia with my kid in his car seat, and we just drove on.
I literally didn't know what to do. I just felt like I really lost my wife at that time.
At that point, I began to cry out and seek God more than I ever have in my entire life. The first time I went to VIVE, it was actually during the relationship series. I mean, VIVE, we have the best community. So they just like lit me up, and that was like I was just blown away. And I was like, well, I'm staying here. This is gonna be my church. He had our son over the summer, and he was bringing him home, and I said, hey, why don't you just come and then we can go to church in the morning? And then he's like, okay, that's fine. I was like, it's about the relationship series. I was like, if anything, you know, it would be just good to just learn.
When I was there, it was just like chills up and down my body. I like didn't even know the songs, but I kept reading and I just kept I was just in the spirit.
Pastor Adam did the altar call and invited people to be saved and give their life over to Christ. And I opened my eyes, and Nick is walking down the aisle.
I just felt like my life was just gonna change. He wanted to change me. He wanted to move me in a direction of bettering my life, getting me off alcohol and drugs. Just all the hatred I had toward her, I literally it released out of my body. It really felt like I wanted to be that Prince Charming she always wanted it.
So after that, then I started to think like, okay, this could possibly happen. So that little tiny hope, the hope that I didn't even want to have, just kept building and building. We started to build a little bit more of an intimate connection. Like we would hold hands. That was a lot. That was so much for me. We started marriage counseling, and from that point on, I knew that God was in the center. He was reminding me that this was not me, but this was Him. So we got married. Our wedding was completely free. We were able to go on a honeymoon. We never got to go on a honeymoon. You know, being able to raise our kid together. I've always wanted more kids. So we tried, and then bam, we were pregnant now. God restored everything that we had before, but just times 10 better. I know that if God can take our marriage from what it was and to restore it to what it is now, you know, He can do anything. Like he just has no limits. He's so much bigger. How could you not trust Him? How could you not trust Him?
I am Nick.
I'm Kenia, and this is our story of hope.